Hey guys, welcome back to the Energy to Heal. I'm Laura Milliken, registered nurse, master's level Splankna practitioner, and your host. This podcast exists to help you better understand your emotional world, your relationships, and your identity in Christ so that you can actually experience the freedom that Christians are always talking about instead of just talking about it. If you're new here, Splankna is something we talk a lot about. It's a faith-based modality that helps people process unresolved emotional patterns at the root level. So like working with the body, the mind, and inviting Jesus into those places that feel stuck or overwhelmed. It's not about coping better. It's about getting to the root of what's driving the negative patterns in your life. And we understand that the body keeps the score. It remembers everything you've ever been through. So we're not just talking about your past. We are doing somatic work with it, bringing the body into it. Today's episode features Melody, one of my 10 preferred practitioners, and someone I personally trust. I have sat with this woman at trainings. I have had lunch with her. I have had conversations with her, and she's someone that I would wholeheartedly put in front of you guys as someone who knows what she's doing in the Splankna world, has a deep heart for Jesus, and a deep heart for her clients. She shares in this episode about her journey with Splankna over the past 2 decades. First, she was a client. Now she's a master's level practitioner. And in this conversation, we talk about the real life impact that this work has had on her family, including her daughter's speech delays resolving, her own experience walking through traumatic brain injuries, and the breaking of generational patterns that kept her family stuck for years, all using Splankna while meeting with the Lord in prayer. This is a powerful conversation about what can happen when you stay in the process, inviting God into the hard places, not expecting change overnight, and allowing deeper patterns to be addressed at the root. So here's my conversation with Melody. I hope you love it. Can you tell me how you heard about Splankna, how you got into it?
Yeah, so it was about 22 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So Heather Hughes, you've interviewed her. She's the co-developer of Splankna. I
Yeah.
was working in a chiropractor's office, and I had been T-boned by a city bus driving my
Oh, my
station
word.
wagon. And so I had moved from Boston here to Colorado, and I had chronic low back pain. And so Heather is also a fantastic massage therapist.
I did
And
not
she
know that.
came, so she came in getting adjustments and said, "Hey, do you want to come get a few massages?" And so I would go get massages from her. And I have had so much emotional trauma and physical trauma that most massages hurt very, very badly. And Heather is gifted at like actually releasing muscles. And so when you're on the massage table, you talk a lot to your massage therapist because you're awkwardly being touched by somebody for an hour. And
Do fill
you
the awkward
share
silence.
stuff. And so I think maybe my third or fourth massage, she just kind of gently said, "Can I try a new therapy with you?" And I didn't know. I think at that time it was only her and Sarah as the 2 practitioners for Splankna. This is before they had
So you
trainings.
are
This
like
is
an OG
this
client.
is when
You
they
have
had
been
like the
around
sticky
forever.
notes, like of how to follow the protocol, like that early. I
Oh, my
remember
word.
seeing the new master's chart show up, the different advanced charts show up. I was like, "What's that?"
Wow.
So,
Okay.
but I knew Heather's love for Jesus by that point. I knew that she would rather be flayed open and have salt poured all over her before dishonoring the Lord. So she's like, "This is going to be weird, but come anyway." And so my first session, I don't remember anything about my first session. I don't remember what we covered. All I remember is that for the first time that I could think of since I was probably a child, I felt this lightness that I hadn't felt for a long time.
Mm.
And my second session, we had covered what was called a soul part, where I had partitioned off a part of my trauma. And I remember that during the prayer, if you remember like those old school cameras that have films, right? I was closing my eyes and I could see my soul like a film, like just that black sheet of like acetate. And as we prayed, it looked like a glittery layer of dust lifted off, and I could see my soul shiny and clean for the first time. But this is the wild part. I walked out and I looked at the sky, and in Colorado, the skies are very blue here. And they're blue everywhere, but like the Colorado blue sky is a unique, vibrant shade of blue.
Okay.
And I said, "Whoa, when did the sky get that blue?" And she just looked at me like I had lost my mind, and she was like, "It's been like that always." I was like, "The sky has never been that blue." And she's like,
What?
"No, it's always been that blue." And I realized that soul part hid my ability to see the vibrancy. Like I literally started seeing color for the first time, as colorful as it was. Like
What?
green
I
hurt
have
my eyes.
never heard anyone say that
Yes.
after
And
Splankna.
I had like dampened my ability to like enjoy the real world. And
Oh
I
my
and
word.
I'm an artist. And so I had
Wow.
always been drawn to colorful stuff, but like I couldn't embrace it fully because I couldn't like resonate with it. And so after that, I just kept going.
Wow. I would love to know, like, what happened actually in your brain that allowed you to process color differently. Like, I've heard 100 people say, I feel lighter after my Splunkna session. I have never heard anyone say all of a sudden colors started to look brighter to me. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
colors started to look brighter. I had chronic insomnia most of my life, and the
Mm,
majority of it went away while seeing her for those 2 years. I went weekly for years.
for years. How
And
long
now, to
before
be
you saw a
fair,
difference in your sleep? Because
huh?
that's how long before you started to see a difference in your sleep? Because I've had people come to me with sleep issues, and it feels like one of the more stubborn things to work on.
It was, I don't remember. All I just remember is that I was sleeping better and happier and more joyful.
Okay,
And I
so it's
remember
just
like
over
when I
time.
would, yeah, I remember when I would go to sessions, she would say, if you feel like this complete aversion to coming, don't you dare listen to that and show up anyway.
Mm,
And so she prepared me for how the enemy could try to steal our healing from us. And there are
mm.
times where I would feel like I was going to vomit my guts out, and I'd call her, I'm like, I'm really sick. And she's like, get your butt here.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
Probably not in those exact words.
And I love how much you trusted her faith in the Lord and her obedience to the Lord, because if anyone just said, don't trust if you're feeling like you shouldn't come, come anyway, I'd be like, okay, that's a red flag. But you knew her, you trusted her, you knew she walked with Jesus. So you're like,
Yes.
okay, I can understand that maybe the enemy doesn't want me to get set free.
Yes. And we started seeing a pattern before sessions, like what we were going to work on might have gotten more intense just before the session. And I feel like that's the Lord's mercy. I always thought, like, I just want this out because I had so much anger, but it was really that
Yeah.
I could then emotionally connect with it better and let it go faster in
Mm,
session. And so that was a pretty consistent patterning for a while. Um, when I was never going to get married or have children before I had met Heather and before the Lord healed me. I was like, I'm going to be a missionary in an Asian country. I was learning another language. I literally
oh,
was like,
wow.
they're all my height anyway, so we're good. Like,
That was the qualification.
that was it. I didn't have neck pain when I went there. I was like, I'm not looking up all the time at everybody who's so tall.
So you started going to Heather because of the car accident. She started offering this session to help with your physical pain from the car accident, but you started to see so much stuff getting uncovered and healed that you kept going. That's what kept
Well,
you going, right?
well, she saw the emotional pain that was probably connected to the physical pain. Like, because when you are a chiropractor or a massage therapist, you'll see consistent patterning in people's bodies. And if you can deal with pain and trauma, that adjustment might all of a sudden be easier. Like my husband, I can share this
Hmm.
about him. When we were maybe a couple years into our marriage, he had this one part of his rib that never adjusted from a chiropractor. And then he went and saw Heather and did a session. And then it became the easiest part of his body to adjust afterwards because the emotional root was held there and it was literally
So wild.
tying up the fascia around his rib. And
We're
so
so complex. Our bodies are so complex. We just don't
it
even
is.
begin to understand how it all ties together.
It is. It is. And so I noticed that like I had chronic neck tension, I had chronic migraines. There was a season where I had 6 years of vestibular migraines daily.
Oh,
Um
wow.
and so I did Splankna. I hadn't seen her as frequently around that time, but I did Splankna therapy then. And those started like disappearing because it was agreement around my body had to dysfunction in order to hide from speaking up for myself, for example.
Oh, like
And
your migraines were a way for you to check out of life in general, so you didn't have to speak up for yourself? You didn't have to defend
because I
yourself?
wasn't heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
yeah, I've been around for a while. So I remember when they had their first training and
yeah.
she was so excited. I remember when she said it sucked because you know how Sarah talks about that, like it was a terrible training and they can't believe like, and I remember that like at my session, I was just like, tell me about it. And I felt the Lord tell me then you're going to be a practitioner. And I was
And
like,
how long ago was
nah,
that?
oh, like it must have been, um, 16, 17
Years ago?
years ago, 15, I don't know,
Okay.
like somewhere early on in my marriage.
Okay.
I got disorganized there. But when I started getting healing, my heart healed around the ability to think about marriage and children.
Hmm.
I saw Heather and her kids. I walked in, I remember Isaac, who's her oldest, being this little 5-year-old, hi, Miss Melanie, and all their kids growing up. I remember when she was pregnant with Levi
Oh.
and just seeing their family and seeing the love that they had. And I always saw that in movies, but I didn't realize it could be real. And so I watched her and her husband, Joe, and she has a very strong personality and how they could like work together. And so she invited me into her life and to just say, come watch. And I was blessed that
Hmm.
I look in hindsight how the Lord has placed me around people like that who've said, come watch and learn over and over
Hmm.
and again so I could have hope and an idea of what to pray for. And so when I eventually met my husband, I was like, you have to check out this therapy. Like while we were dating, I was like, I'm not even going to consider marrying somebody who's not willing to heal alongside me because healing is mandatory in a relationship that is full out for Christ.
Hmm.
Stop. That's the only thing that happens. If you say, I am good with where I'm at, you say, I believe I know everything and I'm comfortable and I'm comfortable with where the Lord has blessed me with, and I don't need any more. But we always need levels of healing that we're unaware of. And because
Hmm.
our own past affects how we, are connected to one another. And I knew that already then. And so he would not go alone. He wanted me to go with him and we did sessions together and like it was he couldn't tangibly connect to it, but he's a very cerebral guy. He has a
Hmm.
Bible degree and he was like, this is new age and I don't want to go near it. And then Heather was very gracious and explained a lot of stuff biblically to him, what we're accomplishing. And he was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is easier than talk therapy because he had been so emotionally shut down that he couldn't actually speak out what was the issue. And so it helped
Hmm.
kind of clear that out so that he could become more emotionally connected and in tune.
Yeah, I was going
Um,
to ask you, with him being very cerebral, like I would imagine that he would prefer this to talk therapy. So you kind of confirmed that.
he does. And he knows because he knows somewhat of how it works. I will work on him sometimes. I don't a lot just because I work on everybody in my home. And so I'm like, you can find somebody else. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Sometimes it's
but
nice to have that separation, not your own
yes,
spouse working on you.
yes. I mean, he doesn't mind it, but I do. Um, so yeah, we had been going regularly and he would be like, I need a session, or I would say I need a session, and we would just take turns going to see her. Um, and we didn't live super far. I think we were like 30 minutes away at the time. Um, I know that like when I lost a baby at 27 weeks and
Hmm.
I got pregnant with my daughter a month later. And
Oh,
I
wow.
had a really hard time connecting with her and she stopped moving at 26 weeks. And so we went and saw Heather and she worked on my daughter Liberty in the womb and she began moving. And I don't know how to explain this. This is where we get into the crazy land, but I literally heard a little girl's voice singing and it felt
Mm.
like her soul singing with joy. And I looked up at Heather, who is not a big crier, and she's crying. She has tears in her eyes because she could hear it too. And my husband was with me,
Oh
and he's like
my
looking at the
word.
two of us, like while we both start crying at the same time, because the Lord had blessed us with hearing her soul sing with release. And so her middle name
Oh,
is Joy now because of that session, because she began
wow.
moving. And when she's happy and fully herself, she sings the exact same tone, that same voice that I heard that day.
You still remember what it sounded like that day?
100%.
Ah, do you have it on? I'm sure you have her on video singing that.
I have her on video singing at different times, yes. And
Oh my
she'll walk
gosh.
around singing worship music and making up praises. And
That's crazy that the Lord
it's
let you
wonderful.
hear like a shift in her being, even in the womb. Womb
Yes.
work is so fascinating in Splankna. You could do a
Yeah.
whole deep dive on that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, because there is left, I mean, you know this as a practitioner, but for people listening, when there's been trauma inside the womb before a baby comes along, like in your case, there was a literal death of a child in that womb.
Hmm.
And then the next baby comes along, that's what we would classify as womb trauma. Like there is
Hmm.
something resonant in that body, it's still. And we are, I mean, just as humans, we can pick up on that kind of stuff and it can affect our emotions, our body, our health. Um, so that's what she's describing here is this being able to clear the womb trauma from losing a child in the womb and then getting pregnant so fast. You probably needed your own session on that. Did you?
Like 100% to get that work on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah.
it took a while because it was different layers of why it impacted me so deeply. I had already had 3 losses prior to that one. And so
Mm.
it was quite a history of losing babies. And I just was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh gosh, no kidding. Yeah, so you at what point were you like, okay, this is amazing? And maybe you're in the middle of your story with your husband, but like you went for like 5, 6 years by yourself and then you met
Mhm.
your husband. You guys started going together. At what point were you like, I think I need to get trained in this? Because that's kind of when I met you, is that advanced, right?
Yes. Well, I knew I needed to get trained a long time ago, like literally a long time ago. But it was usually timing or money or just like I was having babies or pregnant or something like that that just kept getting in the way. And so I just
Mm-hmm.
kept waiting for the year. I was like, is it this year? Is it this year? And so
Okay.
I went to the core level the 2 months before our advance was my first training. And I had no clients before that. And in those 2 months, that was Thanksgiving, Christmas, 2 kids' birthdays, and my husband's birthday before that advanced. And I got all of my hours in it like before I needed to, because the Lord sent people my way. And I've learned from other organizations that I've been a part of that would help, like that taught me how to just share my story wherever I'm at without worrying about how if the person's going to receive it well. Does it make sense? So like I could say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I hear that you're dealing with this. Can I help you? This is what I do. And if they said no, I'm like, okay, the next person. And all
Yeah.
I knew is I had to be faithful in planting seeds of hope and
Mm-hmm.
restoration, and that the Lord would then um, bring people who had fertile hearts who were ready to move forward to the next step. And I often get clients who are like, I'm the last hope. Like, oh, Obi-Wan, you're my last hope.
Mm.
I just get that a lot. Like, this is my last
Like I've tried everything. I've
yep, this
gone
is my
gluten
last ditch
free. I've done
effort.
talk therapy.
Hmm.
I've done all the things and
And I
I'll
think
try one more
because of
thing.
how long I've been around it, I've seen so much healing in my own life in different things. Like literally, I wouldn't say a train wreck because I haven't been in a train, but like a car wreck. Like I had gut issues. I had, like I said, migraine issues. I had speech problems. I had traumatic brain injuries healed. And I think because I had such a foundational history in my own life, I've been healed from fibromyalgia, of these physical healings. I tend to get a lot of clients who have physical stuff,
Oh, I
or
love that. That's my
TBIs where they're
favorite to
told,
work on.
yeah, or TBIs where they're told that they're not going to get any better, and they come in and they get their speech restored, and then we have speech disorders. Like, while I was a practitioner at the training we met. I had a traumatic brain injury that wasn't fully healing. That was my second car accident that had a TBI involved in it. And in that session, my symptoms went away, and I felt like this top because up until that point, my daughter was considered nonverbal, and she was 6 years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I went home and did a session on her, and
Was she in the car with you when you got in the accident?
no,
No, this was separate. Okay.
no, it was separate. It was from like infection, a co-infection that had caused her
Okay.
like brain to have a series it looks probably more like Pan's Pandas now. Now we look at it in
Okay.
hindsight, and they didn't really have a frame for it then. But um then we did a generational thing on her, the same one that I had done that day. And she went from 3 to 4 word sentences and started speaking in full sentences. Like before she said, "Hi, mommy, you, me." And then afterwards she's like, "Oh, well, that was great. Let's go downstairs and get some work done." And I just sat down and cried
In
my
one
eyes
day?
out.
In one
hmm
session?
In one session,
And it was
I literally,
generational?
yeah, it was generational that the women in the family would be sick or injured. Um,
Oh my
and it was a
goodness.
stronghold. And so
Uh,
I, I remember so clearly because it was a generational thing about why I kept getting in car accidents. I was like, why do I keep getting in car accidents, but my sister hasn't, my brother hasn't? Like, it was my fifth car accident at that point. And the last two I had gotten TBIs from. And so I was like, this is bonkers. Like, this has to stop. There's something going on
oh
here.
my gosh.
And then, anyway, so with her, she started speaking. Her speech therapist, her OT, like, had been working with her for years, like, showed up and said, what happened? Like, she couldn't make it, like, she couldn't finish a session with normal language before. And then all of a sudden she's like, I'm ready to work. My brain's working today. We had no idea that she wasn't able to think clearly and that she wasn't able to speak. Like, we didn't know she was aware that her brain wasn't working until that session. And so now she
Mm.
can say, I'm having a really hard time. My brain's kind of slowing down. I need help. And so we're still on our healing journey together, but we've seen after that, I was like, I'm all in as a practitioner. I will work with anybody who I have enough faith to see anything happen at this point,
Oh
because
my
it's the
gosh.
person who feels like their brain is turning into sludge and they can't get the words out. And it's from depression or anxiety or that social anxiety. I want them in my office because I'm like, I got you, boo. I will see the Lord
Mm.
work through you here so you can walk out free. And that's how the name of our ministry came about, was Love Restored, because all of it at the center of it is the love of Jesus in our hearts and the love of
Mm.
Jesus showering over us. And just, I think of him when when it says, may the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you. That phrase shine is also, may he, lift his countenance upon you. The original Hebrew word is around a father delighting in a baby, like giggling at them, and just
Mm.
that, oh my goodness. And I think of how many people would live in a place of freedom knowing that the Lord delights in them like that, like a father looks at their baby, like a mother is just tickling her baby's toes, you know. And before I had done Splankna, I could not emotionally connect with love in that way.
Mm.
I'd always, any relationship I had, I'd push them away. Friendships, even, I would keep them at arm's length because um, I didn't understand it. I don't know how to explain it otherwise, that it just wasn't there. It was like file not found. And the more
Wow.
healing I got, the more
Did you
softer
even
my heart
know?
got. Huh?
Did you know that you were like keeping everybody at an arm's length, or did it just feel so normal to you? You just thought that's how everybody feels in relationships.
It felt so normal. I have a naturally bubbly attitude, but before I did Splankna, I was incredibly sarcastic, which
Hmm.
is hidden anger and rage.
Interesting.
Incredibly sarcastic, and I hid behind my sarcasm as humor, but really it stopped happening over the years as I healed more and more. And now sarcasm feels yucky and I can't get it out. And I'm more likely to be like, oh, do you need a hug? Like, I offer random hugs to strangers in the parking lot at the grocery store. My kids and my husband will be like, oh, she's doing it again. And they go to the car and wait. And I've got
Because my
somebody
mom's
sobbing
gonna.
in my arms. I'm like, it's
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
All the time. I'm
Oh,
like, it's
really?
okay. I see you. It's okay. I love you.
Oh, you're just like the sweet mama ready to take care of somebody who needs a
What?
mama hug.
Oh, yeah, you have the cashier at the register who's like grumpy, and I'm like, do you need a hug? Like, I'm not going to respond to their stuff, and they
And they
go,
take you up on
they did
it?
like at least 50%. They'll be like, I do, and I'm like,
Oh my
come here, and the
gosh.
line could be long. I was like, shut your trap. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, I love that. I
or
can't believe people are like, yeah, actually I do. I would think most people would be like, no, lady, I don't even know you.
I don't know if it's because I'm so short and like round. They're like, she's like a cuddly teddy bear. Okay.
Or they're just like, that's exactly what I needed today. Yeah, you're right. I do need a
Yeah,
hug.
I've had grumpy people, and I just say, "Were you not hugged enough as a kid?" And that's sometimes if I'm getting sassy, I'm like, "That's might be where I start."
Oh my word.
But I firmly believe that love wins, that true love wins, and that it's that dark place when you're at home and you've had another fight with your spouse, and like you don't want to tell anybody about it because of the shame and embarrassment of how the fight happened, and you don't even know what happened, and you feel like I can't be seen, I can't do one more day because
Mm-hmm.
you're so unloved in that moment. Love wins even then. I'm like, I want you in my office and your spouse at the different times probably. Um,
Mm.
not at the
What do
same
you
time at the
mean?
beginning.
What do you mean love always wins, even in that dark moment? What does that mean?
Because the Lord is working through. He's victorious in everything. He ultimately wins. In the word, it says that his story shows winning. I see it every day. I see that when we allow love to win, because that's the part that is the most important factor there, is if we say, I want to lose, then we can't let love in. But if you want to win, let it in. Let him
Mm,
in, let him come out of you, let get get more of Jesus in every way.
mm,
Um, but that's what it is. Like if I have my kid and they're having a meltdown, I could get irritated, right? And be like, shush, 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 shush. Or I
mm-hmm,
could get curious and say, what part of their area needs love? What part of their soul, their mind, their body needs love? And my
mm-hmm,
daughter, especially because of that change in speech, I can now ask her, like, hey, do you need a hug? Do you need space? Do you just want me with you? But I'm here for all of it. Sometimes she's just like, I just need space, and I'll sit nearby and just pray. I'll journal. I'm not going to pressure her or anything, but just having somebody with you, witnessing that wave of dysregulation to regulation can be so powerful. We're made in one of my favorite things when I talk about in a session is that you hear about God being Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and we are made in his image as also a three in one. We have spirit, soul, and body. And so many therapies are wonderful at addressing one, maybe two, but not all three.
mm-hmm,
This is
mm-hmm,
the only one I know of that does all three, where we can address spirit, soul, and body. Um, with that, though, three in one is inherent community within yourself. You're like, be friends with your body, be friends with your mind, be friends with your spirit together. All of it's all working together. You have Father, Son, and Holy Spirit who are like this constant community in their nature, right? And so, because we're made in his image, we have that nature for community inherently made within us, whether we want to address it or not. Um, and so, when we have somebody come into my office who's just like a prickly pear,
mm-hmm.
those are my favorite. I'm like, I'm gonna love you. With like a complete flat affect. I'm like, done. Let's do this.
Yeah,
And when I get a slight smile crack, I'm like, I won.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But like just having that witness in that dark place and that sad place and that alone place, because that's not how we were meant to live.
yeah.
Um, recognizing that we have biochemistry, we have our own physiology that can contribute to those things. But my question is always, why do we get to that place of aloneness, that darkness? What in us is bringing us there? And then witnessing it together and letting it go and bringing it back to the Lord.
This episode is brought to you by Our Ritual. And honestly, I love what they're doing because it makes real relationship support actually doable in the middle of real life. Splankna is amazing for like resetting those deep subconscious patterns that you have. But our ritual is a relationship support platform. It combines licensed therapy sessions with practical tools and guided exercises that you can use between sessions. So it's not just talking about your problems, it's actually learning how to communicate better, work through conflict, and reconnect. It's 100% virtual, which means no driving anywhere. And they have flexible scheduling, even nights and weekends. So if you're anything like me with kids and full schedules, that matters. They also offer individual plans, so you don't have to wait until your spouse is ready. You can start growing and strengthening yourself right now. If you want to check it out, I have a link for you in the show notes. When you go through that link, you can use code ENERGY20 for 20% off your first month. Again, just click the link in the show notes and use code ENERGY20 for 20% off. I love that. So you work a lot with like people who have tangible, measurable, physical stuff going on in their body. If you were to just think of those clients alone, the ones that like have been to a doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, there's nothing more we can do. Like in your experience, how often are those people, their symptoms at least decreased by Splankna? Like as a nurse myself, I'm like, okay, sometimes things are just physical. Like your arm being snapped in half is just a physical thing. Your bone is not connected anymore. But like there's a percentage of time where physical ailments are emotionally rooted in which Splankna can actually greatly help potentially. Do you have any kind of like assumption or guess of what percentage of people with physical ailments are positively affected by Splankna if they take that physical ailment into a Splankna session?
I couldn't say on percentage, but I will say I, I'm going to be one of the rare practitioners to believe that everything has a spiritual root, including the broken bone. That what led you to walking in that way where you slipped and fell? What part of any agreement you had that I don't get to like experience this year well, I'm going to have to slip and fall again. That I've seen that patterning, by the way. I've seen where like I
Yeah,
agree
I
to
have
keep
too.
slipping and yeah, right. So I might look at that, and that, but often if they come in with prolonged healing, like it hasn't, like that broken bone should eventually heal, the pain should go away. You shouldn't have twinges. It's normalized, but it's not normal to have that long healing for anything. We are meant to heal and restore and move on. And so I would say 70-80% of people who come in with prolonged healing issues are better fairly quickly. I had one client at the core level. He had 30 years of back pain, severe back pain. And he did not believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. He did not believe in the Lord's healing in that way. He'd had people pray over him for all these years. And we do a session. And in the middle of the prayer, he starts like ugly crying. And I was like, yo, are you okay? He's not
Especially
a
at core
crier.
level because you're new and
Right.
you're like, wait, what's happening? What?
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, my pain just stopped for the
Instantly.
first time in 30 years.
What?
And I was like, and I'm crying with him.
Yeah.
I don't wear makeup in session now because I'm often snotting right along with you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I can't cry pretty. So let's just leave it. Uh,
I don't cry pretty either. My face swells, my eyes swell shut. Yeah,
right.
it's a
I
whole
was like,
thing.
you know what? I had enough times in mascara. I was like, done. So, and then I explained to him, I said, in my experience, healing from physical pain in particular, sometimes if it comes back, it is going to feel different, which means it's a different layer. And he called me 2 weeks later. He's like, it came back, but you're right. It feels different. It's a different location. It's a different type of pain. We did another
Wow.
session, healed, like
Wow.
good. And it was core level healing then too, you know.
Yes.
Um,
So for those of you listening, there's 3 layers to get trained in. There's core, and then you can go on to advanced, and then you can go on to masters. Melody and I are both at the master's levels now, but she's saying even just at when she was only trained at the core level, that even was what was able to break off this back pain in this guy.
I will say this at the core level, because of my experience as a client for so long,
Yeah.
I had a lot of willingness to let the Lord do whatever he wanted to do. I've seen a lot of new practitioners come in, and this is not a slam against them in any way. They come in as a new therapist and they're like, I'm going to get trained in Splankna because I've heard about it, but I've never had a session. And they don't have a frame for what's possible. And I've seen that
Mm,
be a problem. I'm like, open up and get God out of the box because he will do what you're asking him to do. He's not a genie, but he wants you to love him and know him in every way. And so,
mm,
and I think because of that, and that might be part of why I had so many clients come in the beginning because they started telling other people, their friends and family, so quickly. Like I went in and I had these migraines and they're gone
yeah.
in a day. Like it stopped, and so you got to go see her. And
Yeah, and even
um,
if what you have is only physically based and it's not emotionally rooted, we're still praying over your symptoms. We're still going to ask the Lord and lay hands and say, in the name of Jesus, I declare that this body be healed and receive the healing. Like the culture of heaven is restoration. When heaven comes and
100%.
interrupts anything, like when the light turns on, the room can't help but be filled with light. When Jesus shows up, things can't help but be healed and set free and restored and raised from the dead, right? Like that's who he is. So we're just going to invite him into the middle of whatever you're experiencing, no matter what root it comes from, physical or emotional. And it's so fun. It's
Right.
so fun to
And
watch God do that over and over again.
it's amazing to see when you have a like truly a physical rooted thing, how you are able to handle it better after a session. Like you might not have that healing for today. It might be something
Mm,
that the Lord says not yet, or maybe not ever, right?
mm.
But you can emotionally handle it better and be present with it and not be so like I think pain and illness and chronic inflammation and all those things can often allow a foothold for just dark thoughts and enemy
Oh,
presence to
yeah.
come in and take root. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
getting that out allows you to live life as if you're healed anyway. It takes away the power that it can have over you.
Mm.
And
Huh.
that's really valuable in that moment.
I've never heard anyone say it like that. So, like, even if the pain is still there, you have found Splankna be helpful to help the person be less wound up or bound to their pain, where it
Hmm.
defines them and
Hmm.
sucks them into the dark hole.
Hmm.
Huh.
Because I know that when I healed from fibromyalgia, it took about 3 sessions, I think maybe 4, I don't remember. Um, and it's an all-encompassing pain. It's debilitating and it's exhausting. And Heather encouraged me because she had already had a couple people heal from fibromyalgia in her practice. That usually fibromyalgia has multiple layers contributing to it. Because I always tell my clients this: the enemy is not creative. So if he finds a way to hurt you, he'll come again here, here, and here to kind of reinforce that to keep, because he's like, I got a foothold. So I'm going
Yeah.
to take it here, here,
I
and
found
here.
something that works for Melody. I'm going to do it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I remember like the first session around fibromyalgia, my brain fog lifted like maybe 50%, but my pain didn't change. And then the second
Hmm.
one, like my brain fog was gone, but my pain was less, but not gone.
Mm.
But what did change was my faith got stronger because faith is a muscle that you have to
Hmm.
work for it to grow. And it's not just this blind faith, but this hope, seeing some evidence saying, okay, even if this is the only bit of healing I get, look how much he freed me from this. And he's so good anyway. Um, and eventually got to a place of complete being pain free all the time. And so that if I actually experience pain now, it's such an unusual thing. I'm like, oh, get it out. Um,
Wow.
like
How
I
long did you
slept
have
wrong.
fibromyalgia?
8 years.
8 years. See, that I've always wondered about because that's one of those diagnoses that doctors don't really understand. They don't know what causes it. And it's one of those where they say there's nothing we can do to help you, basically. Like,
Yes.
good luck. And that, as a Splankna practitioner, I'm like, oh, there has to be. has to be some sessions you could do on that. Unexplained, moving pain all the time. That does not line up with heaven's culture, anything I know about Jesus. So, when you were doing your sessions on fibromyalgia, did you notice any kind of pattern of like I am curious of like people with fibromyalgia often come from a background of blank, or like were your sessions around anything that had a common thread through them, or were they those 4 sessions kind of all about different things?
Oh, I experienced multiple types of abuse growing up. And so a lot of it had to do with just the emotional pain held in my body. I don't,
Mm,
I like, I'm sure you've experienced this as a practitioner. You forget
yeah.
95% of your sessions.
Yes, it's so
And so I
true.
don't remember most of mine that I've had on
Okay.
me. I'm like, people are like, do you want notes? I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'm going to forget it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, just
Yeah.
let it out and go.
Yeah, that's me
But
too.
I do know that there was a bit of physical abuse growing up. And so, when and I've had other sessions around body stuff, like I've said before, it has been my way of hiding. And so
Hmm.
that's been my thread, is that it was how I hid from the attention, the abuse, the focused on was if I was in pain, they would leave me alone. If I was in pain, I could excuse myself from doing it like as a way of penance. The fibromyalgia was actually a penance initially for not living the life I thought I should live. That was so hard
Mm.
on myself. Um, and I had to learn to live in a place of grace, not like doing whatever I want, but just we are not meant to be perfect on this earth. That's it. And
Yeah.
I am a firstborn child. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
like counterproductive to everything I know about my life.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're a practitioner now, but you're also a homeschool parent. Like, tell me, what does life look like now for you? Like, how many clients are you seeing a week? How do you balance it with, there's a lot of people that get trained in Splankna and then they don't hold regular appointments with people because life takes over. But your life has definitely taken over multiple times and you're still doing it. So tell me about that.
So I school my kids during the day. I've got 2 little ones. And I also cook all of our food from scratch, like including milling my own flour, making my own kefir, like all the stuff. We raise quail, so we have all kinds of stuff going on in the house. It's a constant stream of nutrition and healthy things and stuff like that. So it's a balance of being okay with lessons not being at the table. Like they could be on the sofa, they could be in the car. We could go out to the playground and I can spend some time taking one child and working with them, being okay with it being a more of a fluid way of learning because of the way my
Hmm.
kids learn. My son was doing lessons yesterday and he got halfway through a page and he goes, I think I'm done with school today. And I was like,
Oh,
you are so spoiled.
he's like, I think that's good for the day.
I was like, no, you're not. We need to finish this at least one lesson completely. Okay. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, do you want to learn how to read?
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
I'm
like, are you
sure.
sure? Because I feel pretty good. I feel pretty done.
So, we do school, and then my husband is also self-employed. He owns his own construction company. And so if he's home, he'll take over at dinner time. If he's not home, I'll get dinner ready. And then I get ready and I start seeing clients at 7 p.m. my time. And I deliberately chose to see clients in the evenings because one of the biggest blessings I had with Heather is that I didn't have to miss work to see her. And I
Hmm.
needed somebody who was available to work with me outside of my normal hours. I didn't have enough PTO as a young single,
Wow.
as a new married. And most therapies of any kind are always during business hours, and you
That's
have
so
to take
true.
away that time. And it creates this stress, and it's enough of a barrier for some people. And I have people who are like, well, that's too late for my kids. And I'm like, I'm not the practitioner for you then. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
And you can't be
So
the all practitioner for every human out there, but I
I
love that you
used to
have kind of a
do
niche.
20 hours a week with clients, and I was so burned out. My hair was like falling out and I took off like a month. I was like, I can't do that.
Oh,
So
my
I
word.
do
Yeah.
6 to 8, maybe upwards of 10 hours a week. That's it.
Okay.
It's all in the evenings. I do intensives on the weekend. We're looking at actually buying a property soon so that I can have my Splankna office will also be a suite. So clients can come and stay and do an intensive if they want to stay for a couple days, and I'll feed them and give them a quiet place to just rest and restore.
I want to come there. That
And
sounds amazing.
actually I have it so that practitioners can come and do retreats if they need to, because we don't have anything like that. Like Airbnbs are
No.
always freaky to me. So
Yeah, and I
um
I turned 40 this year and I've been looking into like where's a retreat? Like what would it be like if I spent like 3 or 4 days by myself as a mom of five? Like that doesn't exist in my life right now. I don't want a big party. I don't want to be around a ton. Like I want to get quiet in front of the Lord and think my own thoughts and like it's hard because a lot of the retreat centers are new age or they're like all about crystals and you're like, it's like close, but that's not what I'm looking for. It's hard.
that's ultimately what we're doing is we're going to build an ADU on the property and have it just like pray over it and have it available to sleep up to 6 so that people can
Mm,
come and just
sounds amazing.
use it. And so that's the plan. But I understand 100%. And by the way, for my 40th birthday, my gift was a hotel stay on my own. And it was like best
Yes.
40th birthday ever. I was like, my
I
husband and kids just showed up like quietly, brought me my favorite meals, and then like retreated. I was like,
yeah.
is
Yeah,
everybody
because we
okay? My
love our
husband's like,
families.
he's like,
Yeah.
don't ask. I was like, okay.
We love our people, but for 20 years we've been loving and giving everything we got. And to like sit by yourself, like it almost feels terrifying to me. Like, am I gonna hate it? Like, am I gonna be like, forget this, let's go home early? Or
I
am
have a
I
place
gonna,
for you that I can recommend, by the way. It's in
oh, good,
Colorado, but I have a
good.
place, an Airbnb that's run by a friend of mine. I'll tell you about it later, but
Okay.
I'll send you the pictures and you'll be like, okay, I'm
I
in.
kind of just want to like meet myself again.
Yes.
I want like I don't even know what that means, but I just am like I don't know. It's been 20 years since it's been just me, without a husband and kids, and I just don't even know what it would be like to be with just me for that many days.
I
So
100%
anyway,
understand. I've been
yeah.
looking for places this year too, because I'm like, the years that I've gone on my own somewhere, I have been more of me for everybody else. And you just don't want to forget yourself. So my mantra this year, for lack of a better word, has remember who you are, like the Lion King. Remember who you
Yeah.
are. Um,
Yeah, that's hard to do. That's hard to do.
yes, and the Lord made us all with intention and design. And it's so easy as a mom and as a practitioner to forget who you are and to get caught up in left brain serving and left
Hmm.
brain list making and doing and everything.
And right
And that,
brain holding everyone else's emotions and right
right.
brain having compassion for everyone around you.
Yes, but like not
Yeah.
right brain connection, like
Yeah.
between left and right. And so I started painting again for the first time in
Me too. I just did
12
this
years.
yesterday.
Did you
This
really?
behind me on the wall, I just painted these yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I like to paint.
This is what I painted for my niece the other day.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
and I've
Oh,
been doing a
I
lot of
love that. Yeah,
watercolor
you
and
did
just,
say you're an artist.
huh?
You did say you're an artist.
Yes, I've been doing watercolor this year and just, I've noticed my virtual sessions become more fluid and more like on point. And I was like, Lord, what happened? Like, this is awesome. And he's like, that's why I asked you to paint. I asked you to be more of who you are. And I was like, oh, you're so,
Oh.
I mean, this is a fair warning with any of my clients. I have what's called a Splankna face. Like when you're on track with something, you're like, oh, and they're like, what's it? I'm like, shh, I'm not done yet. Oh yeah. And then
Give me a
also,
minute.
huh?
Like, give me a minute. I'm talking to
I know
Jesus.
there's also like my conversations with Jesus, and I'm like, I know you made me to make you giggle. You're welcome. And they're just
I
watching and
love
they're like,
that.
are you done yet? I'm like, no, hold on.
See,
Um,
I don't do any virtual. So, like, the virtual world and like sitting where you're not talking with the client, like that feels so foreign to me. But I
it's
love that
just
you're
like what we're
like,
doing
I
right
got,
now.
but like long periods of silence, right? Like where you're listening and checking
It's
the chart and,
it's
or
not
is
that
it not?
long.
Okay.
No.
I need to just do a virtual, like where I'm the client. I need to experience it again.
Just let me know. We'll do virtual together.
That would be
I
awesome.
love both virtual and in person. I have clients that come in person and are single parents, and virtual works great for them because they can come in person when they get a sitter, and then the rest of the time they are virtual at home and they're able to do it in the comfort of their home. I have clients who have insomnia, like I did. And I'm like, I actually would like you to do virtual at night so then you can go right to bed. Like you're not driving home tired. Because I've noticed, especially after physical healing, you get a lot of like this release of like you get really tired. And
Yeah.
I'm like, don't drive home. If you do,
Yeah.
text me, please, and let me know you're safe. Like,
Yeah. Let's just be able to go right to bed. Yeah.
yeah, because my
Okay. So
sessions are later.
I have two more questions for you. One of them is
Yeah.
for my own knowledge, and then one of them I want you to kind of speak to anyone listening. But first one is you're like hugging people in public. You're like noticing when someone is just sad in the real world. So you are a very compassionate person. You carry a lot of empathy for people. How do you listen to people's trauma 10, 15 hours a week and then not let it affect you, not carry it? Like, do you have a process for formally releasing and trusting Jesus with all that? Or is it just you've developed that over time?
That actually is part of why it took me a while to not be a practitioner initially, or why I became one later on, is because I had a habit of taking on other people's stuff. And
Yeah.
so I waited until I could heal enough to hear somebody's story just in the real world and not feel like I have some personal responsibility to help them solve it.
Mm,
So I got there first, but I pray before sessions, obviously, and then in the middle of session, during a session, I've had some clients with some horrific stories that they share with me, and while they're telling me their story, I'm always praying, and I'm praying a covering and keeping that boundary, that spiritual boundary, like, Lord, allow me to hear them so I can witness with them. But I give this to you. I give this to you.
mm.
I give this to you. And I'm doing it the
Like
entire
in
time,
real time. I
in
love
real
that.
time.
Yeah, because I do that in the opening prayer, like, no collusion, keep everything separate. But like, actually, it's like when someone tells you a super traumatic story, it's like a wave is actually hitting you. Like you wait and um this is a crazy story and I'm like living it in real time still, but I went on a trip and I got off the airplane and my ear plugged up, like where it can't equalize. Well, it's been 2 months and my ear is still plugged.
No.
And it was like 100% plugged, my right ear. And it was making me crabby and I was like, oh, this is so annoying. And it was messing with me so much. I couldn't hear very well, scrambling my brain. Well, eventually, and I don't know why I'm so slow to do a session on myself, but I'm like, hello, I should probably
Oh,
do a Splankna session on this.
yeah.
I'm like ready to do it for everybody else. But now it's still kind of plugged, but I would say it's like maybe 15% plugged instead of 100%. And what changed it was that session. And what came up was, and this is so wild to me. I don't know if this will ever stop being surprising to me, that the body will manifest whatever it is experiencing in your emotions, in your brain. And so in my personal practice, and I love being a practitioner, obviously. If you've listened to any of these episodes, this is, I love, love, love Splankna so much. But everybody being like, hey, when can I get on your calendar? Hey, can you open up more appointments? Hey, you're booked out till this. Hey, I need my son to come in. Hey, I need all of this, like, I feel overwhelmed and I don't know how to help everybody. And then I see someone at school and I'm like, oh my gosh, if only they could do, like, I felt this pressure of like, you slip into this lie that like, it's all on me. And I wasn't releasing it to the Lord. Like I was on a deep level somehow feeling like I needed to heal everybody. And I would never say that consciously. I would never believe that out loud with my words, but it was like, oh, I have shifted to taking on the responsibility of everybody's pain, everybody's trauma. I don't have enough time in my schedule. And it was almost like my ears were like, I can't hear anymore. And if you're listening audio, in video, I'm covering up my ears. It's like my body was like, if I just shut it all out, I won't feel so overwhelmed. And so we did a session on being that whatever all that is. And the next morning I was like, oh my gosh, my ear is better. So I obviously need to do another layer of it because I'm still feeling it's not completely normal yet. But it's wild, 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 wild. It feels unbelievable that your body will just be like, oh, you don't want to hear things anymore? Sure, I can take care of that. And it thinks it's helping, but now you're at doctor's appointments and doing eardrops. Just crazy to me.
Well, and the enemy will always attack where your gifting is too. And so your gifting is Splankna therapy as a practitioner and as a podcast host to hear people. I'm not surprised that he's like, hey, let's shut that down.
Yeah. Yeah. And every opening prayer, I'm like, Lord, give us ears to hear if you're speaking to us, whatever you want us to know, whatever you're wanting us to lay before you, like, allow us to hear. I'm always praying that in my opening prayer. And the irony of like, allow us to hear, allow us to hear. And I literally can't hear. I'm like, okay, there's something there.
Right.
Gosh. Okay. And then my last question that I wanted to ask you is, how do people connect with you? How do they find
so
you?
you can, most of the time I have people text me or email me. So my email is love-restored@proton.me. And it's on your website, Laura, as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can also reach me through my cell phone, but I prefer email first. And then
Okay.
I schedule a time to connect. For booking, I have a Calendly link. And so once we connect on the phone or email, sometimes we don't connect on the phone, I send them my Calendly link, and it's an open booking system. And so people can book themselves
Yeah.
whenever they need to. My schedule is out 90 days out. And so that way I have some clients who like to pre-book the next 3 months and have themselves in the calendar. And then I have
Mm-hmm.
others who like to wait until 24 hours before.
Yeah.
But I did it because I got so many of those messages of I need a session or I need to get in right now at the middle of the night. And I'm like, well, why don't I have something available for you to book in the middle of the night? When
Yeah.
you
That's
think
how
of
I
it,
do
you
it
wake
too.
up in the middle of the night and you just go, here, save my contact information, save that link. And then it's always available. And then I tell everybody, if my schedule doesn't work for you, I might not be the practitioner for you, or just tell me. And I do have flexibility. I do see people on Wednesdays in the afternoons as well. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday in the evenings and Wednesday afternoons. My kids are both home during that time. So there's the given that we could get interrupted. They
Yeah.
might just show up and
Real
say,
life.
Mom,
I need
my
Eggie
nose
bread.
is blocked. Please blow it for me.
Yes.
That has
Because it's
happened.
real life, people. It's real life
Yes.
over here.
But
Yeah.
other than that, that's the best way. I love to connect people on the phone just to hear their story and what's bringing them along. And
Yeah.
something to know about me is I'm always praying when I'm talking to people. So I'll be praying whether or not we're a good fit, or if there's a different practitioner I can refer them to. I do
Mm-hmm.
not hold the idea that I am the one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am the one that might be the open door to somebody else being their practitioner.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I want
as
people
far
to hear that. Like, we are a deeply connected network of people. Master's training is a bonding event. It is where
yes.
you meet some of your closest friends. You have lunch together. You sit and stay up late together. That's why, and then this is a reminder to you guys too, like, that's one of the reasons I put together this list of 10 preferred practitioners, is because I don't do virtual sessions. And because of this podcast, I have people from all over the country that reach out and say, hey, there's no one in my area. How do I get started? Hey, I really need a practitioner. But the Splankna website's overwhelming because there's 100 people on there. So if you go to lauramilliken.com and you click on work with a practitioner, or it says book an appointment, I need to figure out what it says exactly, something like that. There will be a list of 10 people. Melody's on there, her face, you can see what she looks like, you can see her background information, and all of her contact information that she just mentioned is on that website. My hope is that that is a huge resource for you guys who are like, you know what, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to book a session, especially if you are in a place where you don't have a practitioner in your area. And these conversations, like, you're getting to hear her voice, her personality, her passions, I want you to hear one of these episodes and be like, okay, that practitioner I click with, I think I could call her. And because I know it's scary, like I'm picking someone that I'm going to tell my hardest traumas to, and I've never said it out loud before. And I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. So reminder of that resource there. And Melody, we're going to wrap it up there because you guys know I record these podcasts while my daughter's at preschool, and it is now preschool pickup time. But of course we could keep going and going because we both love this topic so much. But thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Absolutely. So you guys listening, thanks for being here as well. And we will see you next week.